But what's the difference between weakness of heart and tendency to cheat? They're both the same thing as far as I'm concerned. Why do we have to distinguish between tendency to cheat and weakness of heart? Because I have weakness of heart, sometimes I cheat. Because I cheat, I have weakness of heart. I mean, same thing. I mean, really, Tungarasa, do you think there's a difference between them? You're not, you have
Oh,
no,
sorry, sorry, network, some noise can be listen here. I just read that from Saraswati Thakur. He makes the difference. He says that this is not the same.
all right, maybe
But
they're not.
I just wanted to that you will
Okay,
clarify.
maybe if you read the context of Saraswati Thakur, maybe they're not the same, but I don't know what the context he's speaking of because I'm not reading the same thing that you're reading, so I don't know how I can distinguish between weakness of heart and tendency to cheat. I mean, maybe they're different. Maybe somebody's just basically a full-time cheater, a full-time cheater. That means he has no weakness of heart. He's just determined to cheat. So that's not weakness of heart in the sense he cheats 100% of the time he's cheating. So it's not a weakness of heart. He's just a cheater. Someone's just cheating all the time. And then somebody has weakness of heart. Maybe they only cheat 5% of the time or 10% of the time. And I remember Govinda Maharaj said there was Guru Maharaj and him, they would talk about this person is 5% Vaishnava, 10% Vaishnava, 20% Vaishnava, 50% Vaishnava. So they would talk, they had that distinction. This person uh, might cheat all the time. Every word out of his mouth or her mouth is a lie. Every action is cheating. So that's full-time cheating. That's not weakness of heart because that person has a strong heart, just very determined to cheat all the time. So in that sense, we say tendency to cheat. And then weakness of heart, just kind of like wants to be a wants to be a good devotee, but maybe some days is just too lazy to be a good devotee. Doesn't want to doesn't want to get out of bed. Doesn't want to doesn't want to do anything. Doesn't want to cook. Doesn't want to get out of bed. I can understand that. We all have that maybe tendency sometimes to. That's why I heard that verse that says, how's it go? Savai pumsam parodharmo yato bhaktir hoksajay ahaitukiya pradyatya ya yatma suprasidati. And it says the perfection of life, savai pumsam parodharmo, is to savai pumsar parodharmo yato bhaktir hoksajay. The perfection of life is to establish a loving relationship with the Lord. And ahetukiya pradyatya yayatma suprasidati. And one, there should be in that service to the Lord, in that loving relationship with the Lord, there should be no cheating propensity. One should not. There should be. Let's see. Yato bhaktir hoksajya haitukiya pradita. There should be no material motivation, and there should be no interruption. Yayatma suprasidati. That will satisfy you completely. But we can say, I read that verse. I was very confused by that verse because I thought all my actions have some interruption. I start out very good for 2, 3, 4 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden I hit a road bump. What is that road bump? Oh, now I'm too, I don't want to, I I become on the mental level. And because I'm on the mental level, I don't want to do anything. And therefore, there's an interruption. But how can I do something without any interruption? Because I'm always going to be subject to some interruption from my mind. My mind will tell me, that one day maybe one day for 1 week or 2 weeks, I'm a very good boy. But then all of a sudden, because of the activities of my mind, the following day, I'm on the mental level and I'm not so good. And so there's some interruption. And no, there's some, interruption and having no material motivation. How can I do something without any material motivation when everything I do has some level of material motivation because I'm still under the dictation of my mind? And my mind is material. My mind, as 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 it says in the Bhagavad Gita, the mind can be the best friend or the worst enemy. How many people here, raise your hands, how many people are convinced that your mind is your best friend? Raise your hands. Let's see this. Who's raising their hand? I don't see anybody raising their hand that their mind is their best friend. Oh, you, Lakshmi Kanti, your mind is really your best friend.
I was convinced about it for a long time.
Your mind is your best friend.
I was convinced about it for a long time.
And then what happened? You weren't convinced anymore.
Reveal it truth.
Revealed truth. Okay. I was never convinced that my mind was my best friend. Never, ever, not once. And somebody can say, "Oh, you're very smart. You can remember things and everything like that." So what? What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. I can remember good things. I can remember verses, but I can also remember really bad things too. So my mind is definitely not my best friend. So being on the level sometimes of the mind, that means that all of a sudden when the mind kicks in, there'll be an interruption in service. Your mind will say, "Oh, this whole devotional service thing is becoming very boring. Let's let's go have a couple beers. Let's go have a couple beers and go to the dances. Let's have a couple beers and go to the dances." And then, but you say, "But how can I do that? I'm a sannyasi. How can I have a couple beers and go to the dances?" Well,
I have a question, Maharaj.
what?
Dandavats, Maharaj, and Dandavats to all the devotees.
Dandavat Sumangala. ¿Tú nos puedes entender?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So then I'm being very good. I'm getting up early. I'm getting up at 3:00 in the morning. Never, but I'm getting up early. I'm going to Mangalarti. I'm chanting my rounds. Sometimes 4, and sometimes 16, and sometimes 0. But I'm very diligent about the thing because I'm sure to dust all the cobwebs off my bead bag. So I'm very cleanly. But anyway, I'm just saying sometimes we're on the mental level. So that means our service is interrupted. I never found out who Rupa Nuga is. He's remained hidden. Saraswati is trying to say something, but she can't. Anyway, so there's some interruption in my service. And as I said, there is nothing that I do that has not got some level of material motivation. Generally speaking, maybe in a few moments of every couple of years, maybe I'm with Gurudev and then I'm a very good boy for a week while I'm with him, or a month. But then I come home and then Oh, back to my bad habits. So how can I say my service is out without any interruption and without any material motivation? It's impossible to say that. And therefore, I was completely confused by this verse. Savai pum sam paro dharmo yato bhaktir dhoksaje haituki apradiyat ya yat ma suprasidati. Only service which is done with a loving relationship with the Lord, which has no material motivation and no interruption, will satisfy the self. Ya yat ma suprasidati. If you can do that, you will be satisfied. But then I was thinking, how can I understand this verse? And the reason I could not understand this verse, because I'm thinking of it from going to the lower position to the higher position. But Dandavats, I'm quiet as it's 4 a.m. and don't want to wake people sleeping nearby. Okay, where is it 4 a.m.? It must be 4 a.m. in what country? I'm thinking it must be it right now. It's 8 hours later. It's 7:16 in Rupanuga must be in, oh, it says Queensland in Australia. Okay, got it. Queensland. I was going to, first I was thinking Singapore, but it's Queensland. Okay, so Dandavats Rupanuga, happy to hear from you. And Dayal Chand's back. Dayal,
Yes, I'm here, Maharaj. Dandavas.
he's in New York, but
Yeah, always.
yeah, but he's, what do they call it here when they were talking about eucalyptus trees, and they said those eucalyptus are an invasive species, and it's like, what do you mean invasive species? they're huge. They're so tall. They're only trees bigger redwood trees. How can they? And they've been growing here forever. How can they be invasive species? Well, they're from Queensland or from Australia. They're from Australia, so they say they're invasive species. And I don't know. We wouldn't want to say Dayal Chand is an invasive species to New York City, because everybody in America, they may be anti-immigrant, but everybody was an immigrant. My family was an immigrant too. My grandmother was from Romania, and all my family was from Russia. So my family was not first generation, I think second or third generation. But anyway, everybody's an invasive species like the eucalyptus trees. So anyway, back to I never could understand that verse. How can my service be without any interruption and without any material motivation, when all of us are in some way or other, one time or other, we are influenced by our mind. So I couldn't understand this verse. Because I couldn't understand that verse, because I was thinking of going from the lower position to the higher position. Right now, I'm a very bad boy, but I want to become a good boy. So how can I go by rocket ship right up to the Krishna Loka level in 1 second? How can I do that? Well, I could try to travel at the fastest I could go would be the speed of mind, but it would still be very far away. At the speed of mind, I would never reach Krishna Loka. I would never reach Goloka Vrindavan. I could never be in Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan party, or for that matter, sometimes I wonder, how could I even be with Gurudev? How can I be with Gurudev when I'm stuck on the level of the mind? Even if Gurudev is only in the next room, how can I be with Gurudev? So these questions were bothering me, because I'm still trying to think, how can I push myself up? Well, maybe if I could stand on Gaurachandra's shoulders, I could get higher and reach up higher and grab some low branch. Do you think that's possible? Well, nobody's saying. But I'm just saying it's impossible if you're trying to elevate yourself from a lower position to a higher position. It doesn't make any sense. But then if you read Srila Sridhar Maharaj's position, his explanation of this verse, he says, first of all, he says that plane of pure devotion exists. Whether you're on it or not, it exists. It is going on eternally. And that plane can descend to us by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, by the mercy of Gurudev. That plane can descend to us. So, first of all, without any material motivation, can also be said to mean that plane of devotion is not material. It's always spiritual. It has nothing to do with your conception or my conception or anything of this material world. That plane eternally exists of pure devotion. There are devotees always on that plane. And they, through the mercy of the Vaishnava, that plane can descend to us. So first of all, without any material motivation, can also be said to mean that that plane is not of this material world and has nothing to do with our material mind or senses. That plane eternally exists and it can descend to us. Then the next question is, what does it mean without any interruption? For I can understand now, without any material motivation means that that plane has nothing to do with the material world. Now, what does it mean that there's no interruption? That means that that plane is irresistible. You cannot do anything to interrupt or stop that plane, because when that plane comes to you, it will be like a tsunami. Do we all know what is a tsunami? You know what is a tsunami? It means a big wave. Now, I live in Santa Cruz County. Soquel is part of Santa Cruz County, and sometimes they say Santa Cruz is called Surf City. But it's not, because there are a lot of surfers here. Like, there are more surfers here than there are ants. There's so many surfers. Some of them are very expert, and some of them are not so expert. People come here and they sit on their surfboard all day long trying to catch one or two big waves. But the surfers who are very expert, they don't have to sit all day long. They can catch any wave. They're always riding waves. So what is the point about waves? The point about waves is tsunamis are waves. And the difference is, you may try to go to the ocean and surf and you try to catch the big wave. Now, what wave can be bigger than a tsunami? You're going surfing and these little dinky waves come in, but then a tsunami wave comes in, and the tsunami wave is so big that you don't have to catch that wave. That wave will catch you. The wave will catch you, and that wave will carry you, I don't know, maybe a couple miles, maybe a few kilometers, if that wave catches you, and it'll carry you far away. It'll take you so you'll go over, the wave will carry you over trees and over land and everything. So you don't have to worry about catching that wave. The wave will catch you. What am I saying? The plane of pure devotion can come to us to the mercy of the devotees, and that has nothing to do with material motivation, because that plane is non-material. And then what does it mean? No interruption means it's irresistible. You would not be able to do anything to resist that. It's so sweet and so merciful and so wonderful. When it comes and carries you, you will not be able to resist. It will carry you and never let you go. It will be like a tsunami that never quits. So one way of understanding it has no material motivation is to look at it from the other side. Instead of looking at it from down, look at it from above. That plane of pure devotion exists, and it has nothing to do with the material world. It has nothing to do with anything material because it's not part of this material world. Just like if you consider yourself, you are not from this material world, just like the sunshine. The sunshine is not from this earth. The sunshine is from a star. That sunshine, you're on the beach, lying there trying to get tanned. You see, Krishna Kanti, you're already tan. You're looking very beautiful. You don't have to worry about getting tan on the beach, right? So that sun is coming and it's giving you a tan, but is the sun from this planet? The sun is not from the earth. The sun is from a star. That sunlight is coming to you from a star. And you yourself, you are not from this earth because you are Jiva Atma. You don't come from this earth. The Jivas don't come from this earth. Actually, you have nothing to do with this earth except you're a Jiva Atma, and the body in which you're living happens to be from this earth. But we don't know if that will be the future situation. Even if you stay in the material world, maybe the next lifetime you won't be in Earth. Maybe you'll be somewhere else in another solar system, or maybe in another planet. And maybe you'll be in Venus, or maybe you'll be in Mars. And all the people which you talk to, they'll look different than what we're accustomed to seeing now. But you're a Jiva Atma, you're not from this earth. So then why is it so difficult to think that that wave of pure devotion and pure love that will come to us, it will be irresistible and it will be without any material motivation? It's not, there's nothing material about it. It's not from this earth. It's not from this material world. So anyway, back to Tunga Rasa's question about the difference between, I guess, are we still on that question? I think we are. Yeah, so she says the difference between weakness of heart and a cheating tendency. Well, cheating tendency, we'll just assume the person's really badly motivated, is telling you, oh, I want to help you. But the whole time he's saying, I want to help you, he's thinking, I want to take your money, I want to cheat you, I want to take your nice car, your nice new Saab. Do you have a Saab, Tungarasa? No? Do you have a Volvo?
I don't.
No, do you have any car?
No, I don't have any car.
Do you have a snowmobile?
Just for mobile.
Do you have a sled with huskies pulling you around?
I have nothing.
Oh. So you're traveling around by shoes.
Yeah, by collective transport, bus
Shoes.
and everything.
By shoes.
Is,
Oh, there's Subhadra.
yeah.
Subhadra.
Shoes, yeah.
Hello, Subhadra. Subhadra's very shy.
Philip, con la manita.
Ella está muy tímida. Muy tímida esa Subhadra. Okay, so anyway, we were just talking about, somebody with a cheating tendency is saying that they want to be your friend, but they're trying to rob you of all your possessions and all your money. Maybe they want to take everything. And that's why they're apparently your friend. And you know what? Yeah. Or maybe they're trying to be your friend. Maybe they're from another planet. Maybe they want to eat you. Yes. They're saying, let me serve you, but they mean it in the wrong sense. And just like if somebody from China says, let me walk your dog, you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful about that, about what they mean by walk your dog. So anyway, that's a cheating person. And then there's weakness of heart. And I said, well, all of us have some weakness of heart because we live on the mental level. We're subject to the dictations of our mind. And that means we have some weakness because, as we indicated, I asked at the beginning, how many people are firmly convinced that their mind is their best friend? Because the Gita says, your mind is your best friend or your worst enemy. Now, I'm not convinced at all that my mind is my best friend. In fact, I would say my mind is enemy number one, worst enemy. So I would, if I had to put up a sign of my worst enemy, I'd take a picture of my mind. But whose picture would I put there? I would put a picture of my own face, because the mind is mundane, my mind is material, and my face is material also. And there is Krishna Kishore there, but his face there is not material because he has a picture of Acharya Maharaj's face. So that is not his face. His face there is Acharya Maharaj's face. So we're not seeing Krishna Kishore's face. So anyway, who's my worst enemy? My mind. And what does my mind look like? I could just put a picture of my own face, because my face is this mundane body, and body, mind, and false intelligence, and ego. Body, mind, intelligence, and ego. They are all mundane. So you could, and who is my worst enemy? My mind. And if I had to put a picture of my mind, might as well just take a snapshot of myself. Then I could just say, this is my worst enemy. My worst enemy. Looks a lot like the person I see in the mirror. Strangely enough, looks like the person I see in the mirror, because I never see with spiritual eyes. I just see this goofy looking reflection of myself in the mirror. But that could be I could take a picture of that as my worst enemy. Mundane conception. Anyway, we've kind of exhausted that question. There was what's the difference between weakness of heart and cheating tendency? So at first I said, well, they seem to me to be the same thing, but actually they're not. So I went in and talked about one being complete 100% cheater, or maybe 99 and 100. What did they used to say about ivory soap? 99 and 44 100% pure. They would say ivory soap is 99 and 44 100% pure. Yes, it is very pure. Pure beef tallow. Pure beef tallow. It's very pure. It's made from pure beef bones and lard, I guess. So very pure ivory soap. At least that's what it used to be, I think. So 99 and 444 100% pure, but pure what? It's like stool is 99 and 44 100% pure, but pure what? Pure stool. Pure stool. Anyway, so that's the cheater. And the weakness of heart, I mean, we all get affected by some weakness of heart because we're subject to the dictations of our mind. So that question, I don't know. Maybe somebody could say, oh, you answered this question wrong. I don't agree with anything you said. Well, too bad, because I have the microphone. All right, next. Is there another question?
Yes, I have a question, Maharaj. What is
Yeah.
the difference between Jiva and Atma?
What is the difference between what?
Jiva and Atma.
Well, the difference is, if you read Mahaprabhu's explanation to Sanatana Goswami of the Atmarama verse, there Atma is described in, I don't know how many different ways. I'd have to go back and see that. But there is the one definition of Atma is mind. Another definition of Atma is soul. And then there's so many different definitions of Atma. Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami gives so many different definitions of Atma. So if you want us to look that up, we can look up what are the different definitions of Atma, because Mahaprabhu explains that in the Atmarama verse. Look, Krishna Kishore is traveling so fast.
I'm just down the road, Maharaj. I'm in San Francisco.
Yeah. You're in San Francisco, but if you move your arm, let's see, move your arm, raise your arm. Yeah, sometimes your fingers disappear. Why is that? Somehow or other, your background is chewing your fingers and they're disappearing. So are you really in San Francisco? What? Now you've left the earth, huh? What is that behind you? Anyway, I'm not going to even answer my own question. So back to Sumangala's question about the difference between Atma and Jiva soul. Well, we know we have some idea what is the Jiva soul, which is really who we are. We're Jiva souls, you know. What's the verse? Brahmanda Brahmite Kon. Brahmanda Brahmite Kon Bhagavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai Bhakti Lada Bij. We're that Jiva soul, and we're wandering throughout so many universes. Brahmanda Brahmite Kon. We're wandering all the time, one birth after another, and from one species of life to another. Brahmanda Brahmite Kon. Brahmanda means through the different universes. Brahmanda Brahmite Kon. And Brahmite means I'm wandering. I'm lost. I'm wandering. I don't know where I'm going. I'm going from one body to another. Brahmanda Brahmite Kon. Bhagavan Jeev. But Bhagavan Jeev, if I become fortunate, Bhagavan means fortunate. Bhagavan Jeev means a fortunate soul, because Jiva, very nice, Krishna Kishore. So a very fortunate soul means that Brahmanda Brahmite Kon, Bhagavan means fortunate. Now I become a fortunate soul. What has happened? Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai. By the Lord's supreme mercy, by supreme mercy coming to me, I've gotten a guru. I've gotten contact with my Gurudev. I've gotten in contact with Srila Govinda Maharaj. Brahmanda Brahmite Kon, Bhagavan Jeev. I'm very fortunate. And I've gotten, Guru is plural, so I've gotten in contact with Guru Maharaj and Prabhupada and Acharya Maharaj. And, you know, I can say that I also very much liked hearing Acharyamar speak to these kind of things, Zoom meetings, because from the moment that the meeting started, he was immediately preaching. He was immediately preaching. From the first second, he's already preaching. I thought, oh wow, how admirable is that? I'm saying for me, Gurudev means Govinda Maharaj, but at the same time, Acharya Maharaj, I'm thinking, wow, from the very second I'm seeing him, he's preaching. That who can do that? That's a very rare quality. So then I will consider that he is on that level of, I will say, Gurudev. He's my god brother, but I also will accept him on that divine level too. Why not? We have to see all the power. We have to see all the Vaishnavas as coming to give us some mercy. So anyway, by the mercy of the Lord, Brahmanda Brahmite Kon, Bhagavan Jeev, I become fortunate soul. Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai. By divine mercy, I've gotten contact with Gurudev. Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai, Bhakti Lata Beach. And by the mercy of Gurudev, he's given me Bhakti Lata Beach. Bhakti Lata means the creeper, of bhakti. He's given me that seed of that creeper to sow in my heart. And now what's making that seed of devotional service grow in my heart? What's making it grow? The watering. And what is the watering? How do you water that Bhakti Lata Bij? You water that Bhakti Lata Bij by chanting the holy name. That when you chant the holy name, it's watering that devotional seed, Bhakti Lata Bij, and the seed is growing. But in order to nourish that seed, in order to nourish that Bhakti Lata, that plant of devotional service, it starts out as a sprout. So we should be very careful. Well, because a sprout can be easily broken. It can be easily broken. If you have some, what kind of sprouts do you eat, Krishna Kishore? What kind of sprouts do you eat?
Sometimes we eat bean sprouts in a stir fry or something, maybe.
Yeah, okay, all right. Alfalfa sprouts sometimes, and other kinds of sprouts.
Yeah, whatever they come in the packet, I'm not sure what they are.
Yeah, maybe some wheat sprouts. So what happens if the sprout is broken? How do you put it back together? Can you use some, what do they call it, super glue? Can you glue?
Could try. I'm not sure it'd be the tastiest.
Yeah, it wouldn't taste so good either. But you can, in other words, in the tender stage, you can't put the sprout in the. If the sprout breaks, it's finished. It's just done. If you're not careful with your Bhakti Lata Bij, and we can also say what is it? Ankara. What is it? How do we say when we say that Madhavendra Ankur? We say Madhavendra Puri is the Ankur of the tree of Mahaprabhu's tree. Means Ankur, the growing. Ankur. So what can be bad for that Bhakti Lata Bij? So suppose you have that tree or creeper growing, and what happens if some elephants coming into your garden? Well, you can say, well, we don't have so many elephants in the West. Okay, some big dogs. like some of the dogs that you see when you walk in the park that are almost as big as elephants. What happens if some of these big animals come into your garden and just trample everything? They trample your whole garden, nothing is left. That's one problem. Or another problem is that you're watering that seed of devotional service. And I said before, like here in Santa Cruz County, SoCal, they're so snobby. They call eucalyptus trees an invasive species. What did they do? Sneak up on you? They're invasive? No, but we might say there are many plants growing in your garden along with your Bhakti Lata Beach. What is, then we have some from the first question of Tunga Rasa. We have Kutinata and Himsa and all these other things that are weeds, and you don't want to water the weeds. They'll just get bigger. And that the result of them getting bigger is disastrous. You're watering the weeds and your Bhakti Lata Beach is not getting any nutrition or water. All the watering process that by you can say, what do you mean? You just said chanting the holy name. So how is the chanting of the holy name watering the weeds? Because you're not chanting Sudanam. You're chanting Nam Aparad. And maybe that's nourishing some of the weeds also. And like some of those weeds are like Himsa. Himsa, that, Himsa means like, well, I'm almost vegetarian. But I eat occasionally some fish. And fish is Ganga Jal or Samudra Jal. They grow in the ocean, fish. They're like plants. They're like fruit. They're fruit of the Ganga or fruit of the ocean. So I eat occasionally some fish. That means that's one of the weeds that's growing. It's called Himsa. Violence to other souls. And you could say, well, you're also killing, you eat carrots, you eat cauliflowers, aren't they? They're also jivas, and you're killing them, aren't you? Aren't you killing them? Yes, I'm killing them. Well, isn't that violence also? Yes, but the difference is when I cook them, I offer them to Gurudev and Mahaprabhu. So I think they get some benefit from that. Those carrots that I'm cooking, they're being offered to Gurudev, they're being offered to Mahaprabhu, but they're being offered at the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. So is that still violence to other living entities? No. Those living entities, those carrots, they're singing when you're cooking them. They're singing and they love to be offered to Gurudev. Then you can say, well, why wouldn't the fish be singing also? Well, first of all, those fish don't sing because you can't offer them to Gurudev. Gurudev doesn't eat fish. And Gurudev, unless maybe there is a form of cheating, because somebody told me, oh, I keep a picture of this guru. Why? Because I like to eat chocolate and he eats chocolate, so I can offer chocolate to him. But my Gurudev doesn't accept chocolate, so I keep a picture of this other guru who eats chocolate. And I go, oh, that's very smart. Then whenever I want to offer a nice chocolate bar, I offer it to this acharya who eats chocolate. Oh, you're very intelligent, very intelligent. I don't know. But anyway, you can get the point. So then what is Kutinata? What I wish can we read that story of the cleansing of Gundicha? There you read it's not the last pages, but you read the explanation of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur about the cleansing of Gundicha is compared to the cleansing of your heart. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains how we cleanse our heart. And it's very beautiful. Read that. It's only 2 or 3 pages. Read that part of the Gundicha Marjan, the chapter of Gundicha Marjan in that Chaitanya Charitamrita. You know what book I also used to like to read very much? When I joined the mission, the Chaitanya Charitamrita had not been published yet. And so I read one book by Prabhupada that was called The Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Wow, that book was incredible. It had all the philosophical parts of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, or at least a good number of them, and the conversations with what is his the name of the impersonalist Prabhudananda, what is his name? Prakashananda Saraswati, the conversations with him, how Mahaprabhu converted all the Mayavadi sannyasis in Banaras. That part, the conversation with Prakashananda is there. The conversation between Mahaprabhu and Sanatana Goswami. Oh man, that was so incredible. Where they describe the beauty of Krishna. Krishna is described as having this pearl necklace that looks like ducks flying. His pearl necklace is compared to ducks. And just incredible description, poetry there of how when Sanatana Goswami is hearing about the opulences of Krishna. And you remember, there's a description. Where is it? Oh, I think it's also from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that Krishna has opened up a store where he sells fragrances. The fragrances, you can ultimately say they're from Krishna's body, but he sells fragrances, and these fragrances, cause women to go blind. And when they go blind, they can never find their way home again. Yeah, there's all these kinds of incredible descriptions. Though I don't know that description. I don't know. That description is in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. You can read that. I don't know. I guess it's, I don't know which part of the Chaitanya Charitamrita that is about description of Krishna and his fragrances and everything like that. I think it gets that's in the part where Mahaprabhu's madness is being described, and he's just talking on and on, kind of like a madman. But anyway, so that book, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, that conversation about Krishna's fragrances, it's not in the Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, but you can become ecstatic reading that book of Srila Prabhupada. It's really condensed nectar. Just like his Nectar of Devotion is a summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. How many of us have copies of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? I mean, somebody may have bought some translation of it, but in general, I think Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is available in Bengali, published by the Math. But I don't think there's any English translation of it there isn't from the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math. There may be some translation of it. I mean, I read the first volume translation of it by Bhakti Hridoy Ban Maharaj. No, was it Bhakti Hridoy Ban Maharaj, yeah. He translated Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, one volume. It's one of many volumes. I don't think he translated too much more than that. And Prabhupada's Nectar of Devotion is a summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So if you read that, you also get some taste there. So, but all these books, I mean, it's like Mahaprabhu says, he says, what's the verse? He says, he says, about the holy name, he says, Krishna has made access to himself so easily through the chanting of this holy name, but I'm so unfortunate. I have no attraction to this holy name. What's it? How's the verse go? The second verse of the Sikshastika.
Namanga Kari Bahudanija Sarva Sakti.
Yeah. Nam namakari bahuda nija sarvar shaktis tatrarpita nimita smaranena kala. Etadrishi tavakripa bhagavan mamapi durdaiva midrisham ihachani nanuraga. Nanuraga. Krishna has given everything from his side, and he's given everything in the chanting of his holy name. And there are not even any hard or fast rules for chanting that holy name. But I am so super unfortunate that I have no attraction for not even chanting 4 rounds a day. You know, Prabhupada told me to chant 16 rounds a day. And then, you know, for many years, I chanted 16 rounds every day. And I chanted them so quickly. Hare Krishna, snick, snick, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, snick, snick, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, snick, snick, Hare Hare. You know, I chanted my rounds very quickly, hearing every syllable, every syllable. Chanting, but I did chant 16 rounds a day. So, but then we came in contact with Guru Maharaj, and I once told Govinda Maharaj, Guru Maharaj is so kind because somebody can say, well, Guru Maharaj, I only ask people to chant 4 rounds a day. So I could say, yeah, but what is it better than to chant 16 rounds of Namaparad or only chant 4 rounds of Namaparad? Which is better? I can't answer that question. I'm getting myself deeper and deeper entangled in this conversation. So luckily it's now 8 o'clock your time. So my entanglement ends here. All right, Dandavats. Dandavats. Happy to see everyone. Happy to see all of them.